Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing something in the Bitcoin chart that we have never seen before. Let this video go out as a warning, but in it are actually a couple of different warnings for different things. We are just witnessing a Bitcoin scenario never seen before. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen next, but we do have a solid plan. And by diving in straight away right now, what we are witnessing is a structure never before witnessed. Bitcoin usually only beats its previous all-time high about a third into the Bitcoin halving. If you do not know what the Bitcoin halving is, it's an event where the rewards per block are halved. So the amount of Bitcoin rewarded to miners is halved, causing some sort of supply shock. Because let's say the entities like BlackRock, which we'll talk about in just a second, are picking up massive amounts of Bitcoin and all the miners are selling a certain amount. First of all, theoretically speaking, these miners are right now perhaps selling less than usual because the market's only up and up. So they might want to wait until they sell. But most importantly, if the rewards again half with more institutional interest ramping up, but less coming from the miners, there's just too little supply or too much demand, causing the price per Bitcoin to go up massively. And perhaps that's also what's being priced in right now. As I said, every 4 years this happens, right? About a third into the halving is when the all-time high of the cycle usually occurs. But as you can see, this all-time high was touched a little bit after the halving, right? A new all-time high every 4 years. Here, November of 2013, then December of 2017, then November of 2021. So every 4 years, we are expecting the all-time high around November, December of 2024. But the previous all-time high is usually breached a little bit into the halving. You can see right there in March or so of 2017. Then right here in November or so of 2020. And right now we expect it to be roughly September or so of 2024. But it's already happened now in basically February, March of 2024. So this is something we have never witnessed. I will add though that BlackRock now holds more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy does. And the reason that's so important is because I think a lot of people are not understanding the implications of a couple of massive companies like BlackRock only buying, only accumulating, only getting more. Because I think a logical warning that I was going to set out to everybody, and it still stands. The warning is basically, don't get trapped here, because this is the worst area to get trapped at. I think it has two sides. So right now, as it stands, we are trading at the highest levels we have ever seen in our lifetimes. You can see it from the way we're going right now. These are the highest prices, right? This could be the highest daily close. This could be the highest weekly close we have ever seen. You can see here, nothing really comes close. We've only seen some crazier price territory previously just 2 days ago. But perhaps today is going to be the craziest day ever, and for sure, almost for sure, it's going to be the highest close ever, unless we go down like $4,000 today. It's still possible though, just pretty unlikely. Having said that, my warning goes out to people by saying, depending on where we close today, the all-time high, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is actually confirmed, because that will be a weekly close. If we close above, let's say, $68,000 or so, 68.8 on Binance, it might differ a little bit on different exchanges, but that will basically confirm the highest close we have ever seen. And from there, things can move rather quickly, can move rather crazy. But, and this is a very important but, if it actually fails to close above the previous all-time high, and we basically get rejected at this level right here. We get rejected there. There's a good chance that the next candle is actually going to be a red one. I've actually described this to you guys a multitude of different times, that every single time Bitcoin tried to make new all-time highs, it always got rejected, and it was always some negative price action for a little while. And what I'm meaning there is, I just showed you how the price performed going to its previous all-time high, right? Every single time it touched that level again, it was always a week or two or three, or one time even more. Sorry, I just got attacked by a huge freaking fly or whatever it was. A moth, perhaps. I didn't see it. I just sensed it around me. It's probably because I have a massive freaking lamp in front of me and I'm like in half a jungle in Thailand, so I don't know. Anyway, but every single time we got to those previous all-time highs, right? So let's say this was the all-time high and we got back to that level, we saw some rejections for a little while. Right now, as I said, we are back in that exact same scenario. I already warned you guys about this a little while back. And if we close ever so slightly lower, it might just be time for a slight little correction, of which we've seen aplenty in a bull run. And again, looking back at this, right, it might not be too long. If we just take a line here, for example, it might not be too long before the price gets over it, but it could be that we see the exact result of back in 2017. And the moment we get to these prices, like we did back in November 2020, that we see after failing to close above that high point, but getting very, very close to it. And it, in this case, being a very similar scenario where we got above it, just like back then, but perhaps we close ever so slightly below, that the next week is again a little shaker out of sorts before over the next few weeks afterwards, just going higher and higher and higher, like in previous cycles. Now, the reason I said don't get trapped is kind of double. From the one hand, I don't want people to get trapped in the idea of now that Bitcoin is so high here that we are inevitably going to fall. Because I'll remind you again of back here in history, you can see we really didn't fall that much after getting rejected. It really wasn't that bad. And in previous cycles, it also never really wasn't. So don't believe that we need to get a massive 30 or 40% correction like we see in massive bull runs like right here. Because again, previous all-time, we didn't really even see that too much. The max drawdown we saw was about 12 or so percent. So don't get trapped into the idea of thinking, no, we have to come down a lot. Especially knowing that BlackRock and all these guys are accumulating harder than ever before. On the opposite side, I'm warning people saying, we are right now in a situation we've never seen. The price is already going into such a discovery mode before the halving, where every single time previously it happened after. So perhaps there are so many parties at play going bullish right now, there's going to be one party, one little guy in the midst that's going to try suppress the prices to kind of shake out the weak hands, then let it rip when it usually does, a little bit after the halving, for example. It is still a possibility that we are overvalued right now for how early we are in the season. And that's kind of the situation we're in right now, where we all expect a massive push towards at least 75,000. And once that's over and done with, I expect a pretty quick move towards $101,000. Honest truth, the reason I'm saying 75 is because everybody's banking on it. If we're talking only Fibonacci, 83.4 and $102,000. But again, logically, it is slightly below. Let's say $100,000 are the most interesting numbers. And I do believe we're not too far away. But along that journey, especially here at 70,000, and especially because today is the weekly close, today is that day, and today we could have the highest close, and the weekly we could have the highest close. It's the deciding factor. If we close bullish though, I expect it to just kind of keep running because of the narrative. If it closes ever so slightly lower, in my opinion, the probability of having a slight downtime before going on the run is higher. And in the back end, we're keeping the reason people, got it. And the reason we're not going full crazy, and some people are actually taking profit on their long trades right now because I still have got them open, which is why I haven't done too many videos about it. And tomorrow I'll talk more about the bot trading strategy because it's making crazy amounts of profit. Just wanted today to give a more fundamental update about the narrative and what we're thinking. In due course, all will become clear. And I don't think anybody's bearish right now. It's just a matter of, is this going to be the push or is it going to take a little bit more time? But I'm still full bullish, bull market confirmed. Nothing can be back no more, but that's my only dubious point. I would also be happy for a little flash outs of sorts to kind of shake people up a little bit like we saw the moment we first touched the all-time high. And so if Bitcoin closes a little bit lower, that could be a nice opportunity. At the end of the day though, guys, every single dip I'm just going for. I think this run here has confirmed that the DCA just works. If you just keep buying your way down lower, especially when bullish conditions are basically met, it's very, very hard to lose. If you guys want a strategy on my nearly foolproof strategy, or a tutorial on my foolproof strategy, I'll post it for you guys tomorrow because it's sometimes too easy and I kind of get afraid of it that it's that easy. But yeah, that's coming up tomorrow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on my thoughts and why I think a lot of people might get trapped here. And let's see what happens next. Make sure you press that like button though, and see you guys tomorrow for another update. A little bit more technical tomorrow.